Hey there, everybody. Hello, hello. Hope everybody's doing well. Testing, testing. Hey, everybody, come on in, come on in. Give me a few minutes while I get the tablet up and going as per usual. Make yourself comfortable. There we go. That's what I was looking for. Turn that down. Hey, look who we have. Hey, everybody. Gibi 451. Chris 621. You both have numbers in your screen names. Sketcho, Colt, and Francis Masayoshi. How's everybody doing tonight? Hello, hello. The tablet is running. I can see what's happening. I'm gonna switch this to the other page though. There we go. Hey, everybody. Chris is starting us off right away with technical musician questions, which I appreciate. Do I ever use a wah pedal with my bass? I do not. I've never owned a wah pedal. Way back when, in my early bass playing days, I did go through a pedal phase, and I had, a chorus and like a flange and maybe a bass EQ. I eventually got rid of all those, and then much later I was in a cover band where there were a couple of tunes that benefited from having a little bit of overdrive, so I had a full tone bass overdrive pedal that I was using for a while. But no, never a wah. Just the thought of playing notes and trying to do some sort of coordinated thing with my foot makes me dizzy just thinking about it. Are you a bass player, Chris? 621. Hey, Louis Plays Drums is in the house. Speaking of bands and musicians and all that goodness, how you doing, Louis? How was my week and weekend? It was not awesome, I will confess. All sorts of unfun automotive stuff going on, but there's never good timing with that kind of stuff, but it seems particularly bad these days. But that's, one of those things, and we'll make it through, of course. Now I'm suddenly paranoid that I might be wearing a shirt that I've worn on a recent stream, and then it's going to show up in the thumbnail, and it's going to make it look like I only have 3 shirts or something. Play tenor and alto sax and guitar. Very nice. Kyubi's been Kyubi's. Sorry about the pronunciation. I don't know what's correct. re-roofing my house. Wow, that's impressive. I've never done that myself. And I don't think I've even assisted on a project like that, but our own house is going to need that before too long. Hopefully the weather there hasn't been too oppressive. That can be a pretty brutal job, I imagine, if the sun is really beating down on you, you know. We have a few items here, of course, as per usual. This is a little dish of modern coins. No antiques or silver here, just of all of our modern stuff. Race against time before the rain. Yeah, that will put some urgency on the job, won't it? So as opposed to the kind of sound that we get when we're dealing with 90% silver coins, we have all of our modern, alloy and zinc coins here, which makes that sort of a sound. One of these is not an actual coin. It is it's not currency. It's a little souvenir guy from, it's not going to focus on that, the Smithsonian Institution. And it's a little Apollo 11 commemorative guy. But the rest of these are straight up coins. Jacob McClellan and Sad Egg are in the house. Hello, everybody. Please make yourself at home and chat amongst yourselves. We're just taking a quick look at our playthings, our trigger items for the next hour or so. Hope everybody's doing well on this Tuesday night. Getting off to a later start than usual, but kids all had choir practices tonight, and took a while to get everybody settled down. I played saxophone in middle school, Chris. I played alto, still have it. Well, I put it in a video last year that you might have seen. Mustache Judo is in the chat. Hello there. We have, put this on the other side. We have our marble mortar and pestle, which you saw in the quiet mortar test video from long ago. And it has a little bit of sugar in it. This might be too subtle. I couldn't tell when I was testing it in the kitchen whether this is too subtle for the mic tonight. Bass clarinet. Bass clarinet is one of those instruments that always fascinates me. You don't see it very often. Well, at least I don't see it very often. It's one of those instruments I wish I could just get a good close-up look at once, you know, just to really figure out what the heck is going on with that thing. Oh, Chris, thanks for that comment about that sax memory video. That was the very first video in the junk drawer, if I'm not mistaken. Sad Egg plays violin. That's outstanding. Tons of respect for anybody playing an instrument with a fretless neck, I say. Is this coming through at all? So that we know whether we can come back to this or not. I could always make more contact with the sides and then we get more of that marble sound, but I was really hoping to have more of the grinding. Maybe I should have used an herb or something rather than the Gibi. I just played a little bass guitar in high school. Does that mean you didn't play very much? Or does that mean you played a little bass guitar? Paul McCartney played a little bass guitar. That was a very small bass. An alto clarinet. So would that be smaller than a normal clarinet? SleepStories ASMR is in the chat. A good reason to use mortar and pestle. Well, here's a good reason. For one, right here. We're doing it right now. But yeah, I've used the mortar and pestle occasionally for actual kitchen type items. It can be great to, if you have some dry spices and herbs, sometimes working them a little bit in a mortar and pestle can start to open up the oils a little bit. And then if you toast them, once you get them in a pan or something like that to help the flavor bloom a little bit. A mortar and pestle can be helpful for that sort of thing. Okay, Chris, talking about the clarinet, that's the piece I was missing. I guess I didn't realize that the normal traditional clarinet was in the soprano range. So yes, that would make an alto clarinet bigger. That's cool. No, I have not. Oh yes, Judo's got it. Guacamole, another good use of the mortar and pestle. Are you guys familiar with the animated short called Fresh Guacamole by the animation company PES, I think they're called. I don't know if that's a person. Is it Z or S? Sad Egg. For some reason I thought it was S, but I don't know what I'm talking about. But that is an awesome animation. You should go to their channel and check out all their animations because they're all incredible. Decaf Math is in the channel. Hey, before I got to go back to SleepStories ASMR. First of all, everybody should subscribe to SleepStories and Decaf Math. I appreciate both of them hanging around here very much, but I got to call out SleepStories ASMR because I just happened to discover today that she called me out on the ASMR tag thing that Gibi started a couple of weeks ago. And that was kind of cool. I did a I did a Q&A video like for the 1 year anniversary or something like that. That was really, really long. It was a stream and stuff. So I was very surprised and honored that you would call me out and single me out to do a tag video as part of that series. So I appreciate that, and I may even be able to work on that Thursday morning. Sal Volcano, hello, welcome to the chat. Make yourself comfortable. It's a really neat, in terms of just a social experiment or a networking experiment, I think those kind of tag things are interesting to watch unfold, right? Because, well, it's just an interesting thing to, well, I must confess, one thing that I was unsure of is I assume that people are supposed to kind of just figure out that they've been tagged just kind of organically by just happening across the videos, right? I mean, you don't contact the people and let them know that you're going to tag them, do you? Does anybody know what the actual protocol is for that sort of thing? What it looks like is happening that you just tag them, but then, whether or not they find out about that is kind of purely dependent on, whether they see it or, because I haven't done that sort of thing before, and I clicked on your video, Sleep Stories, because I was interested in how you answered the questions, and I absolutely love, by the way, that you're doing all your shooting and editing on your phone. That is awesome. I love that kind of that making do, DIY. That's a fantastic example for other creators out there that, you don't have to, that we're all carrying around mini, recording studios in our pockets, and you can get so much mileage out of that. I think that's fantastic. So good on you for doing it that way. But if I hadn't actually watched that video, I'm not sure I would have ever known that I was tagged. So if that's the way it's done, it's even more interesting to me, because that organic kind of spidering of the word of mouth, and other people getting tagged, and Gibi, of course, being the one to start it and having such a large channel and such a large reach. I think it's fascinating to watch that kind of spider down into the smaller and smaller channels. So thanks. That was very cool of you to do. So maybe I'll come up with some halfway intelligent things to say about those questions. We have the empty cardboard box here, formerly a container for tea bags, but now empty, temporarily rescued from the recycling bin, to see if we can get some interesting handling sounds. Hey, another thing I want to recommend. I guess I have several thoughts about this tag thing. If you really want to take advantage of this kind of natural organic networking. You know, all of us as consumers of ASMR content, if you want to see this in action and use it as a tool to find new creators, every once in a while you should, when you're in YouTube, do a search on ASMR tag. And what you will see in those search results is more and more of these tag videos as the tagging, you know, spiders out farther and farther, and you will most likely see more and more ASMR tag videos in your search from channels you haven't heard of before. So I think that's kind of the ultimate payoff with Gibi kind of starting something like this, is that if you now as a consumer use that, take advantage of that, and search on that once a week or something like that, who knows? Who knows what might come up? I just did searches like that today for the first time and already saw a handful of creators that I had never heard of before. Small channels and medium-sized channels. And it's not like I'm no expert on this kind of stuff, and I don't have, as much time to consume content as I might like, but it's still kind of amazing. I shouldn't use that word. It's not really amazing. There's a lot of content on YouTube that I know nothing about, obviously. But to have names popping up with, thousands and sometimes tens of thousands of subs that are completely new to me, it's like, wow. So that's the real power of that kind of networking experiment, is using the results after the fact to discover new creators. So I would encourage you, if you're here in the chat, and anybody who watches this stream afterwards, take advantage of that and go hunting, go mining the ASMR tag videos sometime, because a new favorite creator might be lurking in there waiting on you. Scott O is in the chat. Hello, Scott. Oh, thanks for that. You're very kind. Hey, hello, I gotta work on saying your username correctly. Hello, Chigasaki. 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 Maybe it's a trigger word. Chigasaki. ASMR, hello. Everybody in the chat, be sure to subscribe to all of the fine creators that we see popping up in the comments or the chat here. I appreciate every one of them for stopping by, and I would appreciate your support, that if you like their content, please do subscribe to them. Small channels need to stick together, right? Yeah, Sleep Stories, yes, to be kind of tagged organically by another creator, that's a really neat feeling, and for you to extend that my way is much appreciated. I'm not really accustomed, frankly, to things that are happening in the larger ASMR community to trickle all the way down to my quiet little postage stamp corner of the community. So that was quite a surprise. Muzzo Passion. For best brewing, the little instructions here. And the last instruction says, let it steep. Wait patiently for perfection. Wait patiently for perfection. Wait patiently for perfection. That's one of those deceptively simple but profoundly wise statements. It borders on fortune cookie cliche, but waiting patiently for perfection. I was thinking about patience today as I was looking over those 25 ASMR tag questions, because one of them is, what advice would you give to new content creators? And, what I would say is at either the top of my list or second on my list is having patience. Patience for your style to develop, patience to get through the technical hurdles that will always be there, and perhaps most importantly, patience for your audience to find you. Because it can take a while. And there are a lot of examples, we see it all the time, of channels kind of blowing up. And it's amazing to see on the one hand, but it can also distort one's expectations on the other hand. And we should all put our best foot forward and our best effort forward in making our channel whatever we want it to be, but we must be careful. Sometimes it takes patience for the people who value what we have to say to find us, because it's a big, noisy sea of content out there. Hey, Sad Egg, good luck with the rest of your anatomy studying. You'll have to tell us more about that sometime. What you're studying anatomy in the context of some sort of medical decaf math, middle of filming, doing some math. Saw you live. Oh, well, you didn't have to interrupt your production workflow for me, but I always appreciate seeing you here. Yeah, patience is, I think, key. The community is littered with abandoned channels that were, did a few videos, or maybe were around for a few weeks or a few months, and then they went poof, right? And there could be a million reasons for that, of course. But I do wonder if one of the reasons, perhaps one of the most common reasons, is that the people did not really have the early results that they hoped they would have, and got frustrated and left. And that's fine. And I'm not saying that's a bad reason. Sometimes you have to do a thing to understand the thing. You have to give it a try, put your toes in the water, and see how it all works out. That way, at least you know you did it. You gave it a try. If it wasn't your cup of tea because of, if that was one of the reasons, that's valid too. You know. I think, frankly, if I was, being honest, if I wanted to give that advice in the most stark manner possible, I would say, if you're starting out, and you enjoy it, you have to enjoy it. You have to enjoy it as a creative hobby, but assuming you do, you should be prepared to put your head down and just work on your creativity and work on your projects and give it as much as 6 months or even a year without any expectation of subs. Now, of course, you'll get some subs, but I really think you need to just kind of ignore that side of it for quite some time, and then just work on the hobby, work on the personal fulfillment of it. And if you enjoy creating, right, the rest will come. That said, not everybody is going to have the same size channel at the end of the day. Slipshod is here. Hello, Slipshod. Necromancy. Good call. I think some of the advice I would give might sound counterintuitive to most, but it's just things I've observed with my own journey. I kind of think this sounds, like I said, counterintuitive, but I think even though, YouTube is a social platform and you're putting videos up there to be seen, to be watched, so you might look at that relationship and say, I should do what the audience, what my viewers want me to do. But I would advise a new creator to, frankly, take the opposite approach and make sure they're really doing it for themselves first. You can't develop your own identity. You can't develop your own flavor if right out of the gate you're just asking people, what do you want me to do? What do you guys want to see, right? Because you think that if you do content that everybody wants to see, quote unquote, then that's how you'll get the viewers. Excuse me. Sometimes you'll see posts on Reddit, hey, I'm just starting a YouTube channel. I'd love to know what you guys would like to see from me. And when I see posts like that, frankly, it's a little bit heartbreaking. Because I would want to tell those people, I don't want you to do what I might want you to do. I want you to do what you want to do. How can I possibly get a sense of who you are? Right? How can you possibly stake out an identity, a creative identity for yourself if you're not speaking with your voice? Right? I don't want you to be a parrot just figuring out what the most popular subgenres are and regurgitating that until you get enough subs. Tell us who you are through your expression, through your content. I don't know. I'm rambling or ranting. Maybe I'm ranting. I don't know what I'm doing tonight. Hey, this is a. I think I've had this brush on the channel before, but I don't think I've tried any mic brushing with the Yeti since I got the windscreen pop filter, whatever you would like to call this. So, as with all of the sounds, I'm going to need your feedback very quickly to let me know if this is working or good at all. And if not, we'll ditch it. Okay? Wonder how this is on the foam. I remember I did mic brushing on one of the very first streams I did, without the pop filter. And when I listened to some of that back, the brush on the metal grill was just very, very quiet and very, very subtle. So, and it was so much quieter than my voice. I don't know if I should get back a little ways, that you could just barely hear it. So maybe the bristles against the foam, it's a little bit better. Hey, Trevor Patton is in the room. You would be right to probably observe that, I could just have earbuds in coming from the Yeti so I could hear this for myself, but there's always a little bit of lag, and I cannot stand any lag when I'm monitoring. It drives me nuts. Exploring with ASMR is in the chat, everybody. Please be sure to subscribe to him, because he is awesome. How you doing, Jared? I didn't get started on this one until a little bit late this stream, so I'm sorry you didn't get a notification. But we're still here, and we're hanging out, and it's all good. I'm sorry, Thelonious Mage, I'm just catching up with your comments. Brush a microphone, you gotta have a Boba Fett main. Hey, good night, Sleep Stories. It's going good, Thelonious Mage. Thanks for being here. Heathery Snicket. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Thanks so much for being here, guys. I love seeing new names in the chat, and I love seeing returning names in the chat. Really feels like like a book club or a dinner club or something like that, where you see those familiar names, and you get the inside jokes from the things that you talked about last week, and it's just a great feeling, and I appreciate you guys contributing to that. Yeah, I guess I've never done a straight up mic brushing video, Jared. I think I'm a little intimidated by mic brushing. You can always find good examples of, mic brushing that I might enjoy, but, and I'm sure you know this, it's hard when I'm actually trying to do something, do a trigger. It's hard to translate that into, how am I doing with this? Am I doing it? Meaning my inner monologue is usually going crazy when I'm doing trigger videos, and I haven't done one in a while. My brain is usually in turbo second guessing mode every second that the camera is on when I'm doing a trigger video. It's very distracting. I should give it a try sometime. Our Dizzle. How you doing, Our Dizzle? Thanks for being here tonight. Decaf math sounds so good. Thank you. Actually like it better than makeup brushes. Yeah, it's hard to tell on the camera, but these are oh, can you hear this? These are a bit of a stiffer bristle. This was, it's one of the many brushes I kind of inherited when Mom didn't have her ceramic shop anymore. So this is a fat brush that you would apply glaze. It's a good glaze brush for glazing ceramic pieces and for covering a lot of area quickly. It flattens out nice when you can really load it up with a lot of glaze. So if you're doing a lamp or something like that, it's really good for that. So I think you want a stiffer bristle against a foam windscreen like this. A really soft bristled brush would just fold over, right? So I think a little bit of that is what you want. That's right. I am analyzing bristle physics and their application to mic brushing ASMR, because that is the kind of party we have up in here, am I right? Sorry, I'm catching up with all the cool stuff you guys are saying. Velcro? Like a Velcro ASMR video? I have never seen that. Thanks, Thelonious. I appreciate that comment about depth. You guys are awesome. With all the not so fun adulting that's been going on in my universe lately, it is cool to spend an hour with you guys. Very uplifting, and I appreciate it. Okay. Some more brushing here. Of course, I've got the Yeti on my little plate with the rubber bands that acts as a shock isolator, but it also means that the Yeti's got some give to it. And which means the brush kind of stutters down the. Yeah, that's a little smoother. So how's everybody's September been going so far? We are on the cusp of my favorite season. Love the fall. Going quick, yeah, you're right about that. It's humid where Mustache Judo is. Looking forward to shooting 2 or 3 more outdoor things when the fall comes and the colors start changing. I still want to do that Iron Bridge video, but I need to get serious about choosing the bridges I'm going to shoot. And then we'll be down in the Red River Gorge in the middle of October, so I didn't have the gimbal last year at that time, so hopefully I can get some good trail video visiting one of the arches with the gimbal and put it up on the main channel this time. The junk drawer video, the junk drawer has a nice a compilation of stuff I shot last year, but it was too shaky for a real video. And then I've got another trail in mind in this state that I live in that I'd like to do a walking tour of when the colors change. One of the reasons I wanted to do that rainy summer trail video is because I wanted to do another trail video in the fall, and so I wanted a real green one and then one with all the fall colors to contrast against that. Brown and slightly less brown. Yep, fall's my jam. Never lasts long enough. I'm sorry to hear that, Kyubi. Anytime that I'm tempted to complain about weather in the Midwest, I need to keep in mind that at least we have 4 seasons that are actually distinct from each other, and that's I suppose that is a blessing. Parents live in the desert. Have they always lived in the desert, Heathery Snicket, or did they move there, at a certain age because of the weather or what have you? Well, Trevor, I'm in the Midwest, and even in the Midwest, fall can sometimes be way too short. Arbiter, I'm not sure you've been here before, but thank you so much for joining us. Please settle in. We've got a nice chatty crowd tonight, so please do make yourself at home. that's good. Then we'll definitely come back to that. The gimbal, Lord of the Rings. 75 when it rains, 95 after it rains. Oh gosh. Wow. That does not sound, those do not sound like appealing weather patterns. So I'll count my blessings and stop complaining about fall being too short then, I suppose. Well, it sounds like you're taking it in stride, Judo, so that's good. Because unless we have the flexibility to move to places where we like the weather better, we have to make do with what we have to work with, I suppose. $108 on the tarmac. That is a toasty airport. Let's see. Arizona room. One of the midday siesta from Spain, you know, is driven at all by the midday heat. The timing of it, anyway. Yep, understood, Orbiter. Good one, Thelonious. Coins. There's a lot of different handling sounds we can get out of a few coins. Same thing with poker chips. I've never had a real set of poker chips, you know, made out of whatever the real professional nice ones are made of. But I'd love to get my hands on a set of real poker chips and see what sort of sounds they make. No apologies needed. We're an international bunch here, Arbiter. No worries. Does anybody know what negative 40 degrees Celsius converts to in Fahrenheit? Or if anybody knows that one without doing the math. Yes. Slipshod has the real poker chips. So, are they made of are they actually made of a ceramic or some sort of baked? It's not just a harder plastic, is it? Or they're really they're something else, aren't they? Would you educate me on that? Clay, clay. Yes.